showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
On the beat.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on with y'all? You are here again, tuned into this channel, listening to me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. This is Nova Phoenix, your host of GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. And we got one more show for you guys, man. Let me tell you, I was going to do a little post on IG, and I will, on what I should do for the 100th show. And I'm thinking about it. I was supposed to post it over the weekend, but I didn't do that. And a little bit, like say Thursday, Friday, I didn't get to do that because I was just busy. Didn't get a chance to, but it's all good. I will make a post on some suggestions or whatever I feel is going on. How has your week been? Once again, hopefully it was productive. Hopefully that it's this week has put you on the right path to being better people, man. I know every week, every day is a learning lesson for me, and I learn a lot of things. I learn a lot of things that I do wrong too. I learn a lot of things from my mistakes, and mistakes they're not necessarily a bad thing. They are the learning lessons for you to get back on the right path. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I had a good time. This past weekend too, went on a little birthday party to my little girl's her friend, her classmate, his sister was having a birthday, had a nice little outing. I think the first one in a long time since this whole COVID thing hit. And yeah, man, a little girl turned 3 and it was beautiful, and it was in the backyard and it was so nice. And yeah, man, I almost slept through it, man, because I was tired. But then, I did promise the little one, so I was like, all right, I gotta go. Let me get up and drag myself. That happened last Saturday. But all the other weeks were cool. So we do have a special guest today for this show. And I will talk about him at the end of this particular segment. And I posted that before. So for those that follow me on IG, you already know what this one is about. But yeah, well, let's get this thing going so we can get right on into what's been going on, and also that interview, man. So all right, so let's get into it. Trump's administration, as everybody knows, because I'm so late to the game, this man is skipping the next presidential debate. Skipping the next presidential debate. I wonder why. He says because, it's beneath him, or it's something that he shouldn't do, and blah, 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 blah. So he's coming out with all these excuses. But really, we all know why that he's going to miss this next presidential debate. You know why he's going to miss it? Because he's got the COVID. Yes, he's got the COVID, and he's trying to save face. So, I'm kind of laughing. I was speaking to some people, and they're Trump supporters. Shh. And he was like, no, but why are you so, you look a little happy. I'm like, yo, of course I'm happy. It's funny. Whether you like it or not, it's funny. The dude was downplaying COVID for the last 6 months, 7 months. He was saying all this business that it's not a big deal. It's nothing. He was trying to push it off like it was a foot fungus. And then he catches COVID. The funny irony of it all. The funny irony. I'm like, he gets the COVID. So now, because he's taking all these experimental drugs and everything like that, so now he's taking it because he wants to get back on the road. He's released from the hospital. He did his little introduction over in the White House balcony. And of course, everybody saw him heaving, trying to gasp in air. And now, he was an incommunicado for a little bit. He disappeared. Now he doesn't want to do the virtual debate with VP Biden or ex-VP Biden, of course, because he's trying not to be huffing and wheezing while he's in response to ex-VP Biden. Yeah, man. But other than that, this dude wants to get back. His doctor is saying he's all good. He's ready to get to campaigning again. The Navy commander, Dr. Sean Connolly, gave him the green light, but he's saying that the lab test said he still has virus, the evidence of the virus in the nose and throat swab samples. So, he's trying to play both sides. He's trying not to risk his whole career because, if he gets everybody sick, what Trump does, he's going to pass that blame off to whoever he forced to get an answer from. So, yeah, my man's trying to get back on the horse and doing his campaigning. He's still, as far as I know, is not doing the next presidential debate, but he wants to get back on the road and getting to his cult fans. So yeah, it'd be ill if this dude were in the middle of at the podium. They juice him up with, I forgot the name of the steroid. They're gonna juice him up, and that dude still falls out in front. Yo, if that dude falls out while he's talking to people. Yo, Republicans are already putting the nail in the coffin that he's not going to win. They're already talking about it. The blood is in the water. Now, the polls are saying that Biden is up 10 points. You never know. You know what happened in 2016. The news was saying that Hillary Clinton was leading in the polls, and next thing you know, this dude was beat her in the Electoral College, and he pulled it through. So I see all the polls now. I'm not paying attention to them. It's interesting. I think it's a little different compared to 2016 because he's dealing with the COVID virus that he got himself, not just the over 200,000 Americans that died, but he has it, and you could see him suffering from it. Also, he's dealing with the racial and the social unrest that's happening in America. Also, you have to deal with the lack of jobs or the unemployment. I think it was United Airlines that I saw online that they just let go of 20,000 people. Nothing has happened as far as a COVID response, releasing some monies or something to prop up the people, because that's a lot of people out of work at this one particular airline. 20,000, that's crazy. So it's not looking good for him, but yet I still will vote. Yours truly is still going to vote. And we're coming up to it in the next couple of weeks, man. I'm not going to put in my ballot. I'm just going to definitely show up. I'm going to show up early in the morning. See if I could beat this crowd, because I know people are going to try to get online. I'm going to try to get there like 5 in the morning. No joke. I'm going to try to get there like 5, 6 in the morning. I'll sit down. I'll do whatever I got to do so I could go in there and do my thing. Next one. I like to say R.I.P. to Thomas Jefferson Byrd. This brother was an actor on a lot of Spike Lee films. And unfortunately, last week, this guy died. Not even died. He was murdered. He was shot in the back. He played in a lot of films. I can't even name all of them. One is Bamboozled, definitely. But he played in a lot of Spike Lee films. And I shout this brother out, Thomas Jefferson Byrd. Also, shout out Eddie Van Halen. R.I.P. to both of them. Rest in peace to Thomas Jefferson Byrd and Eddie Van Halen from the rock group Van Halen. He passed away at 65 with mouth cancer. They actually had to cut out a third of his tongue in order to keep the cancer from spreading. It's terrible. Now, let me tell you, I wasn't a big Van Halen listener, but I did listen to some songs when I was a kid, and I could dig it. My man, he was legendary in what he was doing with the guitar, the way he played the guitar, and it was something he was doing that way. It was like nobody was doing before. He was like ahead of the game at the time. So, it's sad to see this man go to die from mouth cancer, man. Don't smoke. And the reason they said, the reason why he got throat cancer, because he smoked a lot. He was nervous when he used to get on stage when he was younger, and his pops, who was a musician too at the time, when he was young, when Eddie was born, when Eddie was of age and he was playing music, he would ask his dad, how do I, get through this stage fright? And he'd say, hey man, I'll get drunk. smoke, whatever like that. And he gave him, from how the story goes, he gave him a bottle of liquor and some smokes, and he said, go for it. And Eddie Van Halen did it, and it worked for him. It kind of got rid of his stage fright, and he kept up with that habit all his life, and it finally caught up to him. So unfortunate. So again, R.I.P. to Thomas Jefferson Bird and Eddie Van Halen from the rock group Van Halen. Dope. Even the stuff that I did here was dope from Eddie. All right, so Gucci Mane's new artist, Pooh Shiesty. These names be funny. So Gucci Mane's new artist, Pooh Shiesty, is wanted for a shooting in Florida over sneakers and drugs. Sneakers and drugs. How is it that here you have an opportunity and where you're with this particular artist, Gucci Mane, this dude is on, right? It's well known. And you're still getting into street fuckery. And that's why I brought this up, because a lot of people are like, yo, why you bring this up? And a lot of people, that's not you, no. You don't bring up like street drama, whatever like that. But I do bring it up because there's a lesson to learn. You have to understand, young man, I'm going to tell all them young folks that's in the game, in the streets, whatever. If you have an opportunity like this dude, Pooh Shiesty, and he did it in not that he like super broke. This dude, from what I hear from the story, he did it in a McLaren. Like this whole thing, they saw a McLaren or some expensive foreign driving off, as far as what witnesses had to say. Why are y'all getting into this mess? Young brothers, young sisters, I know you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm not saying that I'm holier than thou. But here, if you have an opportunity where you're seriously working with a well-known rapper like Gucci Mane or R&B artist, or whoever in the business, make the decision to cut yourself out of the street game or the street life. That's not your life anymore. Gave you an advance, or she gave you an advance, the company gave you an advance. Your life should be your music, because that is what got them interested in the first place. So you have to learn to say, you know what, this ain't for me no more. You have to cut off old folk. Now, if the old folk that you used to roll with saying, you know what, yo, Pooh, I'm with you, man. I'm tired of this. I'm coming with you. I'm gonna leave. If they are as serious as you, and they want to cut that street life out, and not get into that drama where they can risk their lives or their loved ones' lives, then so well and be all right. Let's do it. Go with the dude. But if they are trying to pull you back in, there's a lot of times, even when you roll with dudes that you've known for a long time, and you get into a position where you can make money with this known artist, sometimes the people that you came up with are your worst saboteurs, because the fact that they don't want you to outgrow them, they feel insecure that, man, what did I do to not be in the same position? And they will try their damnedest to pull you back into the streets, to the point where you could get into trouble, where you will get locked up, you would get shot, you would get killed. You have to know when enough is enough and cut that part out and walk away. And they're gonna call you, be like, yo, that's not my life no more, move on. So I don't know if they caught this dude Pooh Shiesty, but it is what it is. Next, Scarface, man. I heard Scarface was looking for a kidney donation. So he's up on IG, and T.I. supporting him. And because he said that was the after effect, I mean, he's fine from the COVID at this point, but one of the after effects was getting weak kidneys, and he's looking for a donation. So if anybody's out there that's, I think, a B plus, let me see, and I took that tab out. If anybody's a B plus, let me see, Scarface. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, if anybody's a B plus blood type, help Scarface. He needs to get a new kidney ASAP. So hitting him up IG. I thought he had a website, and apparently he doesn't have a website. I figured he would, because he is Scarface. and I don't know, selling merch or letting people know what he's up to. I heard that he was trying to be a council member in the city of Houston, Texas. I don't know where he's gone with that, but I can't see him having any website here. I tried looking before, and it was nothing showing. But if anybody wants to reach out, Scarface, of course, reach out on his IG, or I'm sure you have Twitter, and see how you can help this man out. So the next thing is this VP debate. So I didn't really see it. I didn't really see it. It's nothing. I'm really not concerned with the talking points from Kamala or from this dude VP Pence. I really don't care. I just catch the clips afterwards on my social media, see what people are responding to. And the thing that I saw continuously was this stupid fly that was on Pence's head. And it was on his head for like 2 minutes, and it was all types of jokes online. And I'm like, and that is what took up most of what people thought was good to talk about from that VP debate. And I'm like, damn, if that is the only thing that I see being retweeted on a constant basis, then it's either they weren't talking nothing, or the people was like, screw you, we don't even care about what y'all saying. So I'm like, I'm trying to see what talking points they had. Let me get the sound bites. Let me get the clips, the 2-minute clips, 3 minute. Let me see what the responses are. Nothing. I didn't really see much. So, but still, I heard that it was a step up from the first presidential debate. So, hey, who knows? I'm not really concerned. As I tell a person anyway, and I've always said, if you listen to a show before, they'll tell you whatever you need to hear. Then once you voted for them and they get in and they disappear for a little bit, they come back with the answer, and the answer is like, oh, well, I tried. These things take time, and all of a sudden they got your vote, and you're just looking like an ass. You're just out there like, oh man. So, who else? Whatever. Yeah. So who else? What else is going on? What else is going on here? Yo, Britney Spears, man. And it's sad, man. Britney Spears is under conservatorship. Conservatorship. No, but what is that, you say? Well, it seems like conservatorship means that people have legal control of your finances and other important decisions, legal decisions in your life. And that means that you are not in sound mind and body to take care of your business responsibly. And they're saying that Britney Spears is under conservatorship, possibly for the rest of her life. Now, if you go to our IG and you see the pictures, remember the time when Britney Spears, when she was at the height of her career, she was basically imploding. And the way that she showed people was by shaving her head, and people was like, oh my God, what happened to Britney? Jeez. And everybody was like, okay, we got to start paying attention. And they kind of like pulled her out of the business because, when you're a superstar and you're touring and you're doing all these, sponsorships and all this business, having movies, it could get pretty hectic, and to the point where you're not sleeping and you're only one person. And the way that she reached out for some sort of help in the busy mix of all that was going on in her Hollywood life, was to shave her head and like, hey man, I don't give a fuck. So you thought that was it. And then everybody lost sight of Britney Spears. And all of a sudden, of course, thank you to social media, she pops back up, and you see again some of the signs that she's pleading for help. And a lot of people are saying, oh my God, her fans, like, somebody's got to help. She's like in pictures. She's doing very cryptic images on her IG. And, you don't know, maybe we're blowing it out of proportion as people on the outside looking in. It's just, but people are deciphering it as, is she trying to ask for some sort of help? And I don't know. I don't know. All I do know is they're treating this woman, Britney Spears, like some sort of cash mule. They are literally running this, because I think she's doing some work at Britney Spears Las Vegas. I think she's doing some stuff at Las Vegas. Britney Spears is at Las Vegas. And I just see it as, they're looking at her as a cash cow. Britney Spears in some sort of way can still make money. And And with this conservatorship, they're making sure that she keeps making this money. And I feel bad for her, man. There's no way out. I mean, like, where's her parents? Where's the people that love her? Man, it's terrible, man. It's really terrible what this business, the music business, the movie business can do to people, man. She looks like she's screaming for help. I feel sorry for her. It's terrible. Yeah. Anyway, to move on, no, Nigeria. So Nigeria is having some issues. And it seems like they're having protests, or they had protests. And a lot of Nigerians in the UK are supporting the efforts of what's happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is being afflicted with a disease called SARS. And I'm not talking about SARS, the disease, like, viral disease. I'm talking about, it's an acronym for Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Seems like they're going through police brutality situations as well. So this squad, this SARS squad, they're accused of unlawful arrest, torture, and murder. So what really sparked off the protest was a released video of a man being killed by SARS officers. And the people in Nigeria, they're protesting and letting people know that the government should do something about the SARS and this reckless, wild, crazy acts by these police officers. So it turns out that the president of Nigeria really wanted to just reform it. There was no way to reform it. So they finally, after a lot of pressure, got this SARS police officer unit disbanded. But the only thing is, these officers will be relocated to other places. So, we're not the only ones that's going through police brutality. And I just find it funny that Nigeria has a group like SARS that's really persecuting the people. I never understand it. These are your own folk. Why? And they're saying, the youth are saying the reason why they're targeting the youth because they look like thugs or hustlers, meaning they're doing cons and all these things to strip money from people. And if they see someone that looks like they're just too, I guess, with fresh clothes and all this new technology like phones and all these things, and driving in like, I guess, modern cars, they pull them over right away. And this one Nigerian brother that speaks English, I don't even know if it's English from the UK or English from the States, because this dude has some English, like he was speaking pretty good from, like, he's from the States. So maybe he was, but he was speaking from the UK, and he was saying how he was getting pulled over a lot, like 5 or 6 times since he's been in Nigeria for like 2-3 months. So yeah, man, I'm glad that they disbanded the SARS group. Black folk in America is not the only people that are going through police brutality. It seems like Nigeria is going through it themselves. So hopefully that they've made some progress in having some sort of justice in Nigeria. So big ups to Nigeria. Big ups to all my people in Nigeria. And last but not least, before we get out of here, Gal Gadot. I like Gal Gadot. I really do like Gal Gadot. Everybody knows who she is. She's an actress that plays Wonder Woman. And I can't wait for Wonder Woman 1984. I like the trailer so far. I mean, it's great. I really do like Gal Gadot. She's understanding her story right before she got into the Wonder Woman role, she was like about to give it up. She was like, I'm tired of doing this, whatever. And then it just happened. And now she's Gal Gadot, superstar, Wonder Woman. I haven't seen her really in anything else, but I'm sure she's going to do that. But she does have another movie that she's coming out with. She's partnering along with the director of Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, and they will be doing Cleopatra. Woosah. I'm pulling my ears, y'all. Woosah. Woosah. Yeah, so yeah, she is going to play Cleopatra. She's following in the footsteps of Elizabeth Taylor, that played Cleopatra back in what, 1960s? Let me see. Elizabeth Taylor, 1963. Now she's playing Cleopatra today through Gal Gadot's own production company called Pilot Wave. Woosah! Now. Come on, y'all. Oh, are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? So, Gal Gadot is going to play Cleopatra. I mean, listen, what was that last movie? What was that last movie from the gods of Egypt? Let me see. Gods of Egypt. It was a 2016 movie. Listen, that movie was so trash. That movie came out in 2016, and it featured, let me see here. Let me see who these punk ass actors are. Full cast. Brenton Thwaites is back. John Samaha is Vendor. It had it had, what's his name from, oh man, and you think they would put him at the top of the list, famous actor, Gerard Butler as Set, right? So it was sci-fi in a way, fantasy. It wasn't like a real, like, you know, what do you call those time period movies? So it was like, you know, it was a fantasy, you know, action adventure. And I got like into 20 minutes of that movie, and I turned that motherfucker off. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't want to see no friggin' white dudes running around. You know what? I turned that movie off, and when, you know, R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman, when he died, they say he was in that film, and it was a clip that was like on my YouTube, you know, scrolling, whatever. I'm like, Chadwick was in this movie? And it looked like he was playing Jehuti. And I'm like, Chadwick was in this movie? Yo, I'm serious. I saw this movie for like 20 minutes. I turned that joint off. Had no idea Chadwick Boseman was in that movie. And it was Trizash. And you know, I was not the only one. Even when I was looking at reviews of Gods of Egypt, and I always look at the comments. I always look at comments scrolling. I think it was in Rotten Tomatoes, and with some other reviews online. And everybody, I mean, damn near every other comment to that movie, people were saying, aren't we tired of seeing white people play Egyptians? I'm like, thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. It was a bunch of white folks that was even, they was saying, damn, come on, Hollywood, get this right. This shit is corny. And they had English accents. I'm like, come on, man. And all I'm doing, I'm waiting. This movie's gonna come out. Oh, I can't wait till this reverberates through Hollywood. Hollywood communities, fans, audiences everywhere. Because we have to stop with this BS of having Egyptian characters played as white people. I don't care if they're period pieces. I don't care if it's fantasy. I don't care if it's cartoons, a CGI joint, animation. I don't care. Stop it already. It is getting lame. So much to the point where I was like, you know what? If Gal Gadot is going to play Cleopatra in this stupid ass movie, then let's get my man Jonathan Majors. He's a dude from Love Country, all right, that movie on HBO Max. Let's have Jonathan Majors play Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar wasn't white. And Julius Caesar wasn't white. Yeah, let's forget that. Let's forget all the busts. Let's forget all the coins. Let's forget all the written documentation. Let's forget all the art, everything about Julius Caesar. Let's keep it real. Julius Caesar was a black man. So we gonna have my man Jonathan Majors play Julius Caesar. Boom. I think that's fair. Because people will be like, well, we don't know the color. Stop it, man. All right, we know Hollywood, you grown ass 60-year-old motherfuckers know that freaking Egyptians was black. They unearthing all the mummies from the hair to the actual hieroglyphics to the skin. You can actually take samples of the mummy skin that's still intact after all these years and actually get a melanin count. Let's stop playing. There's an actual picture that was drawn at the time that there was distinctions of race between the Northern Europeans, the Arabs, the African Egyptians, and also the Africans from, I think, Ethiopia, farther down in the central part of Africa. They even made distinction of different ethnic groups that were in the heart of Africa. Stop it, man. It is getting lame. Hollywood keeps on doing this, and then nobody's saying it. Yo, and I mentioned this actually to Reginald Hudlin, because he's involved with another slavery movie. We had a little, that's the brother that's the director of Black Panther, and back in the days with House Party, and he did a whole bunch of stuff. And he still does stuff today. Even the movie with Chadwick Boseman, he did Thurgood Marshall, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I had a back and forth with him because he put it out there in the FB. We're connected on FB, Facebook. And he was like, well, look, Reginald, I'm calling you out. I'm talking about all the black directors, all the black producers, all the people with money, even the non-black people, the white folk that know the truth. Come on, stop it. Come on, man. Stop it. Why this keeps happening? The truth is there and people keep on doing the same thing. If we gonna do the same thing with Egypt, F it, let's do the same thing with the Roman culture. Let's do the same thing with the Greek time. Let's do it because y'all is faking the funk. Get over yourselves. All right, get over your ego, get over your inferiority complex, get over it. The first civilization was African. The first Homo sapiens came out of Africa. They migrated up north. Before they migrated up further up north through India, through Europe, through all that was 10,000 years ago, civilization was developed and it reached its height in Africa. Not in Egypt, but the first evidence of African civilizations and knowledge of the sciences was in the heart of Africa, Naphtha Playa. I ain't gonna say no more. Naphtha Playa, you look it up. And the Ethiopians came up north and they settled down at the Nile Valley, and African culture, African civilization was there for thousands of years. They're even saying the time frame could be wrong based on the height of African civilization, Egyptian civilization. They're talking about now, looking at the Sphinx, how they see the evidence of water coming down and cutting grooves at the base of the Sphinx, and they're matching it up when there was heavy rains at the time, that it can, African Egyptian culture went back further. The time could be wrong. Instead of from 5,000 BC to 2,500 BC, and that everybody from 5 to 0, they're saying that African culture, Egyptian culture goes back further to 10,000, 12,000 BC. They could have gotten the time periods wrong, the first Egyptologists, which is another question. I don't know why there's Egyptology. Why there is even a name Egyptology. We don't have Greekology. We don't have Romanology. I don't know why there's a specific study of this particular history in this particular region. We call them Egyptologists. I don't understand. We don't have a friend. They're just historians, right? But that's another conversation for a whole other conversation. But I'm saying, come on, man. Let's have a movie like Troy, an Egyptian civilization, vast like that. Where I'm talking about some Dr. Zhivago business. That movie's like 3 hours long. Come on, man. I'm just tired of the slap in the face that we keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we know the information is wrong, but people, get over yourselves, Hollywood. Get over yourselves. The rest of the people in America and around the world have caught up. Y'all gotta catch up. Richard Pryor was talking about that even when he was doing his movie, when he did that skit, when they found, you know what it is. Man, listen. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So we have a special interview that we're gonna do with this particular brother. I finally got in touch with him. I was following him for a long time. Whoa, wait, but before we do that, I totally forgot. I'm kind of rushing. So we're gonna get into Audio Push Love and War project. I did not play the war side. I played the love side before. So we're gonna play the war side of this project. The song is called "Let Me Know" with Illiteracy, with Will Spitwell, Speakeasy, and of course I Am M. She's a dope singer, and of course Chris Pritham being the creative director, putting this project together, doing this thing. We're gonna get into that, and right after that song, we're gonna get into Tevye Love for the Nightlife. This is a dope song. It has a video out. If you want to see the video, stop right here, go to my YouTube channel, and you can see Tevye Love with his joint for the Nightlife. So let's go check out Audio Push Love and War project on the war side. Let Me Know song with Illiteracy, Will Spitwell, Speakeasy, IMM, and then we'll get into Tevye Love for the Nightlife, and then we'll get into the phone zone with my brother Moses West. All right, here we go.
Let me know if you're real and your heart's in my hands, and I know you ain't going nowhere. Let me know if you're sincere, cause I ain't trying to care for nobody who ain't real no more. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one. You know, I want it to be just like old times, but you act so different. What are you missing? I know you need love, but I need affection, and that attitude got you in the wrong direction. Wrong or right, who's right or wrong? To tell you the truth, nobody knows. Reasonable doubt, are you a friend or a foe? Is your heart an icebox? Baby girl, let me know. We could really be something, you letting it go. And I know we had problems in general, but we just ordinary people looking in each other's eyes, telling bold-faced lies. And at the end of the day, we both got played all over bad decisions we made. But you don't have to hurt just to make it work. But if you don't, leave or give your all to me. Let me know if you're real and your heart's in my hands, and I know you ain't going nowhere. Let me know if you're sincere, cause I ain't trying to care for nobody who ain't real no more. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one.
Wow. Cause see, the last thing I wanna do is start all over. Used to get kisses, now I get cold shoulders. You ain't gotta creep like TLC. If you not happy here, I'ma set you free. But when the same chick telling you I ain't it, convince you to break it off and finds another girl to hang with, then starts calling me, sounding real impatient. Just remember, this was your decision and you made it. The opposite is true too. If you feel like he the right dude, go ahead, do you. But be woman enough to make it plain. Another man in the mirror when you need to make a change. Cause I find another one and upgrade. Slim waist, pretty face, and some double D cupcakes. Make sure it's more to it than that though. Qualities my mother possess and not a wacko. Few piercings, no tats though. Always up front with me, love it from the back though. Probably from the south or at least cook like it. Latin in the blood or at least look like it. And please don't get it twisted, cause until you trip up, this scenario is just for instance. I'm cool, but it seems like you restless though. So if you want out, you should just let me know.
If you're real and your heart's in my hands, and I know you ain't going nowhere. Let me know if you're sincere, cause I ain't trying to care for nobody who ain't real no more. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one.
The offer still stands when you sitting thinking to yourself, you ain't worth shit. Just cause I ain't washed the dishes, your ass must be tripping. If this is what you want, I'll find another place to kick it. The whispers, lies, fake smiles, and rolled eyes. Ask you where you been and you got no alibi. Now you starting out buying low that Gucci, Prada. It's fake, but it's just so others think you more than nada. It's a lot of shit I'm getting off my chest while I'm at it. Get the hell up off my property and jet, yes, believe me. So you know I noticed how you treat me, trick. Say the word and I'm out like bricks during the riot. Patience for your ass, I quit. Hell, I dip before you even get the words out your lips. And like Cool Whip, the other guys they sweet for a second, but then you find out it's mostly air and indigestion. Caring for some sex, then you washed up like seashells in seconds. Lost like an Eskimo in Texas. And then let me guess, you'll be coming around buzzing. You can visit, so you know I'm staying with your cousin.
Let me know if you're real and your heart's in my hands, and I know you ain't going nowhere. Let me know if you sincere, cause I ain't trying to care for nobody who ain't real no more. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one. Let me know, cause I found another one, cause I found another one, cause I found another one.
Turn it up. GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio.
She left me hanging for the nightlife. Broke niggas in the bright lights. Told her everything would be alright, but she was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the night shift. Broke niggas in the light shift. In the club but can't pay rent. Got a 9 to 5, maybe 9 to 6. Remember love and remember touching me. Before you let them lanes keep you company. We used to have respect and no honesty. Girl, how you let the love we had make you a memory? Ooh, babe. Oh, how you let the love we had turn you a memory? Girl, I've been sipping on this mouth, began to see. Ooh, since you've been gone, babe. Since you've been gone. Oh, since you've been gone. No, you left me at home. Why'd you do me so wrong? She left me hanging by the nightlife. Yeah. Broke niggas in the bright lights. Oh, no. Broke niggas. Told her everything would be alright. But she was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the niggas with some famous daddies, but they don't do shit. Hold the line ass niggas, but no one wears shit. I guess what I'm trying to say is they really basic. I know it might sound like I'm hating, but no, that ain't it. Remember feeling, remember kissing me. Before you let them lanes keep you company. You used to do me right, had integrity. Girl, how you let the love we had fit to a memory? Yeah. Oh, how you let the love we had turn to a memory? Girl, I've been sipping on this mouth, began to see. Ooh, since you've been gone, babe. Since you've been gone. Oh, since you've been gone. No, you left me at home. Why'd you do me so wrong? She left me hanging by the nightlife. Broke niggas in the bright lights. Told her everything would be alright. But she was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the late nights with her friends, then it help us in the end. So I'm saying, broke niggas in the bright lights. Broke niggas with no bands in the club like the man only on the weekend. Everything will be alright, but she didn't listen. And now I know she missing, but she was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the nightlife. She was in love with the. Take control.
This is GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
Okay, so we are back. That was Audio Push, Love and War Project, The War Side. Let me know with illiteracy. I don't know, I can't say this His name, Illiteracy, Will Spitwell, Speakeasy, IMM, and then right behind that song was Tebby Love with For the Nightlife. Yeah, man. Dope songs. Shout out to both of them. Big ups to the both of them. Make sure you go to the page and check out their music on my IG account when I put the links when I post this. Right before we go into this interview, there was something that I was just put onto as far as what's going on around the world, in particular California. Now, this is going to be crazy. So, because everybody is virtually working, they're working at home because of COVID really kind of turned things 180. People are realizing, hey, I could do the same job at home. So, a lot of companies are allowing their employees to stay at home. Now, Facebook in particular, hear this one more time. Facebook is telling their employees, for those that do want to virtually work at home, say they're going to move out to Nevada or Texas or something, a cheaper state or place wherever they want to live when they relocate, Facebook is saying, well, because you're moving into these less expensive areas, we are going to cut your pay accordingly. Say what? Yo, they're gonna cut their pay. At most, I think I hear is 20%. I'm like, what? It doesn't. Yo, it is. Yo, let me tell you something. Mark Zuckerberg was still making hundreds of millions of dollars, and all the other people that are at the top of Facebook making all this money, even when their employees were making $150,000, $170,000 in Palo Alto. But now that they want to move out, you want to lower their pay. It doesn't make a difference. You were still making all this money when they were making those high six figures. But now it's a problem. Yo, that is so prickish. I'm telling you that it's, oh my God, it's crazy. And I never understand I do understand. So someone's making $150,000 in New York. They move out to, I don't know, Idaho, and they now have to make $60,000. And I know what people are going to say. Well, no, but it's the standard of living. It's much more expensive in New York than it is in Idaho. But to me, it shouldn't make a difference. It's just insane. I mean, you just want to keep me poor. That's essentially what you're telling me. You're going to just adjust my shit so you can keep me poor and I can be begging for money. It doesn't make sense. If I'm making this set amount of money for this particular job, then I should maintain that money, because the person that busts their ass the same way in Idaho, these people are making the same pay in Idaho in comparison to people in New York, and they have to make less. They have to make less money in Idaho. What? Oh man. I just don't have any words, man. When I looked at that article, I'm insane. Anyway, I just wanted to put y'all on to that. You can look it up yourself. Google it. Do your Googles. Yeah, so we're going to get into this interview with Moses West from the Moses West Foundation, talking about his atmospheric water generator. It was a great interview. We're going to go right into it in the phone zone. Let's get to it.
You're in the phone zone with Nova Phoenix on GCOM Radio.
What's up, yo? This is Nova Phoenix right here for In the Phone Zone on GCOM Radio. We have a special guest, a man that has created a beautiful machine that benefits people around the world, and I've been following this brother for quite some time. And understanding his responsibilities, it's been a task to get a hold of this brother right here. But I have him. He's right here. So let's get right into it. Mr. Moses West, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How are y'all doing out there?
All right, we are perfect. We do interviews for the show, but for artists, and a few artists do reach out to me and they say we should do interviews. I'm like, I don't really focus on artists, just their music. And then when the time is right, we do get artists involved at some point in time. But I like to concentrate on innovative men, forward-thinking men and women, that are really trying to change the world right from where they are. And you, Moses West, Mr. Moses West, I've been following you for a long time, and I've seen your work, and it impresses me. And one part that I have as part of my site Lyfeblood.com, is to focus on inventors, whether engineers or any one of those fields in the sciences, when they do create something and they have, it's created and they're applying it in the real world, those are the people that I concentrate on, because to me, you are the stars. Folks that are really changing communities around the world from what they made with their own two hands. So I do appreciate you. Now, tell me, Mr. West, for those that don't know who Moses West is, what is your background? Who are you, sir?
Well, I'm a Southern boy. I was born in Georgia, and then I was actually raised in Germany. My dad was in the military, and we moved over there in the early 60s. So I actually was raised in the rubble of World War II. So I got to see what a major war would do to a place. People don't think of me as that old, but I am 62 years old. I just take really good care of myself.
You look good. You look good. Yes.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Nobody told me what it was like to be 62, so I said, "Hey, I'll make my own. You guys, you do your 62, I'll do my 62. Okay? Yeah. You do yours, I'll do mine, and I'm pretty happy with mine. Okay.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Yeah.
So you came up in the military. Military. Yeah.
And so I got to experience a lot. I got to learn how to, I speak a few languages. I speak German. I speak Swedish.
Wow.
Lived in Korea for a few years. Patrolled the DMZ. I've traveled around the world quite a bit. And so my upbringing was very unique. Very open societies with lots of children who traveled around the world as dependents. So we had teachers that were very engaged into how we behaved and how we learned, and making sure that we had the foundation. Learning is going to school is only a license to learn more. It teaches you how to learn more, and my teachers taught me how to do that. And I'm still in contact with some of them today. It's only the key to open the door to go to learn more. And so I had great mentors growing up, and I've always been curious, always taking things apart, always wanted to find out how something worked. I was a kid who would lay in the yard and look up at the sky for hours and hours and wondering why everything was moving the way it was. And finally got to those college courses, and I could grasp it and I could understand it. And I have a close connection with the earth, the ground that's under my feet, my trees. I take care of them, the animals around me. I lived in Australia for 11 years.
Wow.
I spent more time in the ocean than I do on land when I'm in Australia. I put my gear on. I go a mile, 2 miles out. That's as far as I'll go by myself. And I wear a buoyancy vest, and I sit out there. I look at the sharks. I look at the whales, and I just kind of hang out there. I mind my own business. I haven't been bit yet, but it's just a beautiful experience to be in the ocean that far out and to experience that. It's a great energy. And then I come back, and I put that into everything I do. I did a stint in the military as well.
Was it the Marines, the Army? Which?
In the Army. In the Army, okay. What I learned how to do was I started out as an infantry officer, and I became a pretty hardcore ranger. I was up at the 75th Ranger Regiment, and then I went to an infantry assignment, 2nd Armored Division, and then I got tired of walking around all the time. So I decided to become a pilot, became a line pilot. And then I was a commissioned officer. I was about to lose that job and have to sit in a desk, and that wasn't going to work for me. So I became a test pilot. Right. So I became a test pilot. Most thankless job in the Army, working on military aircraft. But I tell you what, I kept on flying, and I got to fly a lot.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's basically my upbringing.
So how many years would you say? Like you were a military man all the way through, about 20, 25 years now. Right?
No. I was through like 1996. I was on temporary disabled retired list for a while. I got hurt when I was in the Gulf War, but I had such a skill set. These guys, they told me, it says, hey, you know what, you're going to stick around for a few years. As you get well, we're going to stick you back in.
Right.
I was like, radio, mate. Sure.
Yeah. And you did your business.
Yeah, I just grew a full beard and started wearing shorts, and then it was the day it was time to go in. I went in with a full beard and sandals on, and the guy looked at me and says, you really don't want to come back in the military, do you? I looked at him. I said, you think? You think? And he's like, go home. I was like, okay, we'll see you.
So what did you discover traveling around the world about people and the places they live? What was those unique experiences like?
The unique experiences, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We all want neighbors. We all want to be in love. We all want to be kind to each other. We all want to be generous. We all want to share. We all want to take care of our children. We all love our environment or the places where we live. We have more in common than we have in the way of differences. And that's where we, I think here in the United States, where we tend to fall apart, because right now the way I see how we function is we're functioning as we're being socially engineered, and everyone's going down their own little rabbit hole of information. I always say everybody needs to turn off every data device in their house, and you just need to go out in your front yard and meet your neighbors and talk to the people down the street and in your city, and you'd be surprised how much you have in common. You believe the same things, and you all want the same things.
Right.
Instead of being divided.
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Sometimes we just need to disconnect and to talk to people human to human and understand we all want the basic things: food, clothing, and shelter.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it comes down to: food, clothing, and shelter, and taking care of our families. And everything from that, that's the foundation. And everything from that builds the civilization. So I think we need to concentrate and reevaluate who we are to each other and what our value is and meaning is to each other. And I think that's what's missing, man, especially now.
Definitely.
So how did you come about this idea with this invention, everything that you are, starting the Moses West Foundation, as they call it, or as you call it, the atmospheric water generator? Talk to me about that.
All right. Well, I started the Moses West Foundation because I was sitting around here and thinking, hey, I'm not gonna live forever, but I've got all these things that I put together, and all this technology, and all the potential that all these companies can make, and I own all of this intellectual property. And it's like, hey, I like my little small house I live in. It's great. And you can only drive one car at a time. I didn't get into this to get rich. I got into this to help people. So the Moses West Foundation, you donate to that foundation. Everything that foundation owns, all the profit that I make, it goes back in there. And once I'm dead and gone, all the patents and intellectual property and all the work goes in there. And that foundation someday it'll be giving people scholarships for renewable energy. It'll be a clearinghouse of just a massive wealth that should go out to help people who don't have clean water, who don't have renewable energy, who don't have food. That's why I built that foundation, and that's why I work on it now. But I came across this because when I was in the military, I was very specialized in what I do. And boy, I tell you what, you talk about a destructive individual. I would be the last person in the world that you would want to say, hey, Moses is over there in those woods. Hey, let's go get him. No. That would be a very bad idea. That would not be good for you. Okay? I am a highly trained individual.
Right.
Okay? So that took a lot of energy to do that. Me and my little 11-man team and my rifle companies and my flight companies that I work with, we were the top of the food chain in death and destruction. We could absolutely destroy anything that was put in front of us. But it takes a lot of energy to do that. It takes a lot of energy. And so then when I finally, there was a point in time when I was in the military, and I actually thought about going to the seminary. So that can you figure that one out there? I still can't. I was saying, okay, I'm doing this, but I think about, it'd be nice to be in a seminary. So I always had this kind of this yin and yang. And so then when I finally got out of the military, I decided, what I'm going to do is all of this energy this destructive energy that I have and that I understand that I can put in to just totally lay you to waste. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to turn it into something positive.
Turn it into life.
Oh, I flipped the switch on that one. So I'm definitely humanitarian of the strongest kind, because all of that energy and all that motivation to do the other thing is the same motivation I bring to trying to get people water, working on this technology and trying to help people. But it also gives me the strength to fight people who constantly try to steal from me or sully my name.
Right. So this atmospheric water generator, tell me about, like, how did you get started in that?
How did I get started? I saw a machine and I just was pulling water out of the air, and it was this little tiny machine.
Right.
Some of the machines I flew, some of the aircraft I flew in the military were massive. They were huge, and I flew little helicopters as well. And then there were little tanks, and they had big tanks. We had little ships, and we had big ships. I looked at the little water generator, and said, "Little water generator, big water generator. Let me go build one."
Right, the same thing. Right, same.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a little one, you can build a big. Hey, you got some guy there's got a rowboat. And then we got somebody over there's got an aircraft carrier. They're both boats.
Right.
What I did was I saw this little thing. I said, you know what? I need to turn that thing into an aircraft carrier, and I did. And so when I saw the small machine, it needed to be larger because it needed to be larger and it needed to be more efficient. And so the research and development that I've done over the years into this process, here's something that not many people know. I am the only company in the world right now that I can take a 50,000 square foot building and I can turn the entire building into a water generator. That's what people don't know.
I was thinking that. Oh, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that, because I was just thinking that about your AWG. I'm like, wait a second. Even the size that he has it, he can quintuple that size and get more water out of it. But we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
For right now with your machine, how much water can you get out of that machine?
2,000 gallons.
A day? 2,000 gallons a day.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay.
I can go over to my shop right now. You know, if I don't have investors in my company. Because I'm not going to be owned by anybody.
Right.
We've been owned in the past. I'm not being owned anymore. Okay.
Right.
And so right now, what I'm going to do is, if I had the money right now, I could build a machine sitting over there that you can carry from one place to the other, and it can make 5,000 gallons of water a day. Not 5,000 liters, 5,000 gallons.
Wow.
So all the process to make this equipment more efficient. There's no one out there right now that can do it better than I can do it, because I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
Thinking outside of the box.
And what conditions? Because what are the prime conditions for this atmospheric water generator needs to pump out 2,000 gallons, 5,000 gallons a day? Any specific environmental conditions?
Oh yeah, definitely. At one point in time, what we had was, there was a time where we said, okay, what we need to have is we've got to have over 30% humidity. But now at 30% humidity, that's even fine. But then there's some other materials out there. It's not just what I build, but there's other materials that come along that you discover along the way. And so there's some materials out there called sorbent materials. They're these materials that you sit outside and they soak up water, but you got to figure out how to get the water out of those materials. Right. Well, what I did in my spare time is I figured out how to use sorbent materials in combination with my equipment, so I know how to put the two together. And so even when you get down to 1%, 2%, 3% humidity, 5% humidity,
you can still pull it out of the air.
Yeah, I can still get it. And then so now, instead of just having, okay, the sun comes up in the morning, there's a little bit of humidity, then the sun cooks it off, and then you go out through the day, and then the humidity goes up and down, and then it comes back around. You got your 24 hours. Well, I'll tell you what, in that 24-hour loop now, my machine is pulling water every single hour in that 24-hour loop.
Wow. You know, it's crazy. I saw an article where there was a small village in South America and the village was having problems with water. So one guy in the village came up with it because there was a mountainside up adjacent to the village. He thought, hey, I can get water right out of the air, but it was very simplistic in its creation, and that's all you need. Invention doesn't have to be complex. It could be a simple process, or putting together a couple of 3 or 4 components, and you could get the same outcome. So what it sounds like, the sorbent materials, he used some sort of a material like a flag almost, but it was vertical. And somehow they pulled the water out of the air, and it dripped down the side of the mountain, and irrigated it to the village. But it wasn't as efficient as your machine.
Right.
So my thing is, when I saw your machine over the years, I was like, wait a second. He actually extracts this right out of the air and pump. Well, I don't know how much water that this guy in South America was getting. Who knows? But throwing up fabric like a flag, who knows what he could get out of that. But it seems like your machine, it just draws it right out of the air and provides, as you said, 2,000 gallons of clean water. And I thought that was amazing.
2,000. Look, if some benevolent person out there decided to give me the money to go and build one of these machines, I could build you the machine within 90 days that would probably be making 20,000, 30,000 gallons of water a day. Wow. It's not hard. What's hard is finding the money to do it without taking in investors who just, oh, man.
Can you scale now? And sorry, we were going to get back to this. Can this be scaled up to the point where you have it the size of a cogen plant, where or some like one of the things that I was also thinking about what society can create is desalination plants. It's not nothing new. It's been created. They say what they're saying is it's extremely expensive, and it's not where we want to go. And
I
was like, what? I think, because why don't we scale this up in your machine 10 times the size, 20 times the size, where it provides even more water for a small community, a small city, county.
I've already done it. I mean, the machine up in Flint, Michigan, it's still operating today, supplying 5,000 people with drinking water every day. You don't hear anything about it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, you hear the bad stuff like, the machine was sabotaged. You hear people like the negative news. But right now, hey, as long as the people in Flint are happy, I'm happy with that. I don't need to sit here and tell everybody, hey, I'm making water for people in Flint. No.
Right.
The people in Flint call me up on the phone and they tell me they're happy. That's enough payment for me.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. One of my questions was, Flint, Michigan.
By the way, I pay for a lot of that out of pocket. There's some donations that come toward it, but I pay for that myself, actually.
Wow. And how was that whole thing?
It's great.
Flint. Okay.
It's absolutely great. I mean, every day people get up, they go up, they get 5, 10 gallons, 15, 25, 100
currently,
gallons of water.
as we speak, this machine is working as we speak.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. It's been. It flew up there and turned it on June 19th. Special day. So it's been operating since Juneteenth.
You're right, sir. You're right. Right. Okay. Now, the message is going around. Before we continue into the next question, folks, we are going to get into some music we have for the show. So I try to keep this in reasonable time for our segment. So we will continue with Moses West and the Moses West Foundation and his atmospheric water generator in a few minutes. So just check out this music, and we'll be right back. All right.
Yeah, that was the first segment of this interview in the Phone Zone with my brother Moses West and the Moses West Foundation. I'm loving it so far. I hope you guys are loving it too. Yeah, man, let's just get into this music and we'll get right back to this show. Now, mind you, I won't do Business of the Week or News You Need to Know because I want to concentrate on this interview, but I will do Business of the Week online on my IG account. It just won't be put on here. So let's get into the next songs. The song will be Clutch Royale. I haven't played that brother in a long time. He actually has a 6-part series called Soul Food Sessions of just a number of different songs that he's done, and he's releasing probably every 2 months or something like that. I haven't seen it in a while, so I finally saw him doing the 4th. This is number 4 of the 6-part series Soul Food Sessions, and this song is called Snow. I bought it. It's hot. Check it out. This dude's really got that vibe, man. Clutch Royale. And right after Clutch Royale is the bonus track. You haven't heard her in a little bit, but we're going to show some love to Britney Holmes with her song Woman That You Need. It's a dope joint too. I'm glad to hear Britney Holmes once again. So listen to Clutch Royale with Snow, the number 4 part of his series, of his 6-part series, Soul Food Sessions, and Britney Holmes, Woman That You Need to Know. And after you hear them, we will get right back into In the Phone Zone with Moses West. All right.
You know what? It's ironic how I use this platform, it's all because they wanna praise the status and not the balance, and they hit by slugs. They wanna speak to masses, it's so impactful, but it's missing something. Like I can feel the wind, it's flowing on my skin, but I ain't hearing nothing. Food for thought. How about I make up a dish for the soul? How about I whip up a plate of instructions and hand you some lemons and life gives you bowls? Go through the motions of just trying to make it, but missing the steps that will make you feel whole. How about I give you some game that will cause you to change, and then you be set for your goals? Listen. I had differences and I had doubts. I done went through pain without a scream or shout. I done went through breakdowns but never tapped out. Stood up tall with my head held high. Knew my call but wasn't filled with pride. Humble setbacks pushed me aside. Made me stronger with longer strides. Heal with me like tap out, break down, get free. Sounded different when you're locked in chains. Tap in, break through, be free. See the shift when you change in the game. See, this ain't checkers. I want some substance, I need some effort. Maybe life because the game is better. Now I gotta be chess, so I apply the pressure. Look, I don't stand here so I can boast. Perceive a lifestyle that's dreamed by most. That life is played out, it's all a joke. Season change and mood swings of life. Missing the hurdles but making the strides. Feel the upbeat, you know the vibes. In order to grow up, I said my goodbyes. Peace to the pain, peace to the game. Peace to the life that would have me in chains. Peace to the weak, peace to the meek. Peace to the people breaking the peace. But then it's all love, props for the growth. Without all the peace, I can never let go. I had to see me in the worth that I own, so I can spread peace in the land unknown. Preach.
Y'all, check it out, y'all.
Here's a bonus. You heard it before.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Serving that heat.
Now turn me up.
GCOM Radio.
Met you. Your heart was broken, but you let me come into your life to show you how a woman holds a man's heart and brings him to his knees. Oh, baby, I'm the woman that you need. Whoa, that girl, baby, she did you so wrong. She lied and she cheated. Your heart was in pieces till I came along. I will never turn my back, 'cause you know my love is real. Oh, baby, I'm the woman that you need. You've been through it, baby, baby. But so have I. Watched me lose it, baby, baby. Seen each other cry, but I never wanna see you hurt, wanna see you smile. Don't you know you'll always be forever mine? Don't you worry, honey, never gonna leave you lonely, 'cause you've got me and I've got you. Woo. Oh, my dear,
right, this is Nova Phoenix. We're back in the phone zone on GCOM Radio with our guest, Mr. Moses West. And the question I was going to get into right before we took that break is the message is going around globally that water, we're going through a global water crisis. Even they're saying there's a water crisis in America. What are your thoughts on that? Are we really going through a water crisis?
No. What we're going through a lack of innovation crisis. That's what we're going through. We're going through people sitting on their computers eating Twinkies all day long. That's the crisis we're going through. People sitting there wanting to play video games. People can't get outside and communicate with their neighbors. That's what the problem is. People wanting to steal other people's work. People wanting to push one piece of paper across the desk to another guy sitting there and look about how great the presentation is. I was talking to some executives the other day. They said, how do you do this? I said, well, I'll tell you what, guys, why don't you come down and work with me? I said, what I'll do is I'll get some work gloves for you, I'll get some work boots, and then I'll get some toolkits, toolboxes, and y'all can come down here. I'll show they can put the work gloves on, put the boots on, but none of them can pick up a toolbox. So what we have in the United States is we have a lack of ability to execute. Okay, we have a lack of people thinking outside of the box who can get outside, stand on their own two legs for 18 hours a day, and go help another person. You got some first responders, some firefighters, some military folks, some police officers. You got some people out there who can stand up for a long time and go and help people. But the way that we used to do these things before, this sedentary lifestyle that we've made for ourselves in the United States makes people apathetic. Yeah. Okay. I'm a very dynamic person. Like right now, I sat out this interview that we're doing. I'm standing outside in my oak trees and pecan trees, looking at some squirrels that I need to get out of my yard. You know?
I hear you.
They tear my pecans up. I'm ticked off at them.
Do you believe in the scarcity of natural? Do you believe in the scarcity of our natural resources?
Yeah, there's a scarcity of natural resources, but I've been telling people for a long time, everybody's like, there's no water. Okay, look, you're in Houston, Texas. Picture this. You go to Houston right now. You go to Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. And some hurricanes just came through there, right? So what's the temperature? It's 90 degrees? What's the humidity? 95 degrees? Right? And there's people sitting there and they're walking around and they're standing there and they're saying, I don't have any water. Can you give me a case of water? You're standing around in trillions of gallons of water. I need some water. Look, dude, your science, basic science, liquid, solid, and a gas. Liquid, solid, and a gas. You're standing in it. Go get yourself a glass of ice and put it in a glass and sit it on the table. You'll make enough water from the condensation off that ice in that glass to give somebody else a glass of water down in Louisiana. So basically, what I do is I have a machine that uses a mechanical process to take the moisture out of the air, out of the gaseous state. So everyone who's saying that they don't have any water, there's water in the air everywhere around the entire globe. From the surface to 10,000 feet is called a troposphere. It's a superhighway of water. How do you know it's a superhighway of water? Because they just sent a whole bunch of hurricanes that came up here and kicked you in the teeth. That water that came up here came through that superhighway. That's a whole heck of a lot of water that came up in that hurricane, isn't it?
I think people are used to going to the supermarket and getting water in plastic containers. That's what it is. We're conditioned for that.
Yeah, and people are used to sitting down there at the computer, too, and get some bad information.
And
people
that, too.
Need to engage more.
Right.
They say, okay, so I'm totally engaged with my technology. And I'm totally engaged with ensuring that people have this technology to make some water. This is not hard. This is not rocket science. This is not like a Saturn V rocket going to the moon. Okay? This is basic science. Liquid, solid, gas, technology, simplistic stuff. But I just figured it out better than anybody else.
Well, I was reading a National Geographic article. I think it's a recent publication, and they're saying that there are villages in Tibet that are having a water crisis because they're saying that the water that regularly comes down from monsoon rain and glacial ice melt. They're going through a shortage of that because of the environmental change, and especially in Pakistan and in northern India, they're having this what they're called a water crisis because of the environmental change that's happening, and that the glacial ice melt is shrinking, which is providing them less water for the village.
Let me. I'll try to explain this. I'm sure there are many of your listeners understand what I'm saying when I tell them this. The headwaters of some of your largest rivers, the Ganges, the Yangtze, the Mekong, the Mekong River, all these rivers that travel through Asia, these were waterways that were used for centuries for commerce. Well, those waterways are fed by massive glaciers up at the top of the mountain, top of the Himalayas. They feed these massive waterways. They melt in the summertime, and there's so much water, these massive rivers just float.
Right.
Well, guess what? The glaciers are disappearing because it's so hot. When those glaciers disappear, this is the most populous part of the world. India, China, Indochina,
right? Those
places are populous.
Yeah, India alone is 1 billion people.
They're about to run out of water.
When
those headwaters up there stop, and then you've got countries like China damming them up. You've got countries in Africa damming the Nile. People are trying to dam the water because they understand that it's going to run out. You start damming that water, you're about to go into something called a water war. We're about to start fighting wars for resources. Okay, but now say if you're sitting someplace in the Middle East and you're next to the Persian Gulf, or you're next to one of these, because I was in this place called Dhahran. I'd never been a place so humid in all my life. I stepped out the plane. I stepped out of my helicopter. I'll tell you what. I had water rolling down in my boots because it was so hot and humid. That is easy water to get. That is absolutely millions and millions of gallons of water that you can pull out. So, and you can do it on sunlight. So all these places that are going to run out of water, this is a technology that they can actually use to not only produce water, but I've also worked with the state of Texas here. I can make enough water here to actually recharge groundwater using solar power.
So it's just not this particular, but there's African countries that are having water shortages. I mean, are you in contact with any of these African governments or any of the other governments around the world to see how you can use your machine to provide water for the communities?
Oh yes, I'm a keynote speaker coming up for a summit here for nations on sustainability. Because what I've calculated out is not only can I make water, but I can use solar power to do it, and I can grow food at the same time. And I do all that within my foundation. And I've done this in Puerto Rico already. I ran with that Tesla solar array on the island of Vieques, and we supplied an entire island with drinking water on solar power.
Right.
That was the first time net zero ever happened in a natural disaster. And we did it. So this is not very hard, but what you do have is you see how our society works today. You have a large group of very devious people who only look at something for themselves and for the profit in it.
So you have this machine. You have this machine in Flint. You set it up there in Puerto Rico, of course, when they had their hurricane.
In Flint, Puerto Rico. I've done it here in Texas. I've got the military using the machines to produce water. The Marines are using the machines, and I'm building machines. I got to build the ones that I got to sell to keep my company up. But I tell you what, I'd rather build a machine and just donate them and give them away to people who need them. Because the new machines I build, this new one, I can pretty much call it the 800. I could put that machine in your neighborhood. It'll produce all the drinking water in 2 blocks of people.
Wow. What's the general response from the local governments, even in Texas? I know they know that you exist. You're out there. What's the response with them?
The federal government's really good. The federal government and military folks, they're good. They understand it. But then I think whenever you work with a local government, it's it's however they do things. Whoever's in power, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of pay to play. There's a lot of corruption. I got no time for it. My main connection is just with the people and making sure that the people have what they need in the way of water when the government fails them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will do is I won't fail you. If you need a machine from me and y'all got the money for me to build you a machine, I'm going to build you a machine. You can tell me to learn how to work it, and you can take it away and go use it.
What's the average cost for a machine? The sizes that you create right now?
Oh, the price varies, but I kind of leave the pricing up to talk about the pricing with my contracting officer.
Okay.
I'm always sticking my foot in my mouth, because if we get a production run going, the price can go down. Right. If I change the design up. So
stay
in my wheelhouse.
Can you roughly give me an idea? Say there's a
roughly in the area of $50,000, and I can see what I can do from there. But then it comes with solar power. There's all kinds of different things that you can add to it. You can make it how big you make it, how much electronics you put in it, how remotely you want to be able to use it. Solar powered, diesel, hooked to the grid. Water storage capacity comes with it. So basically, for that price, you're getting a water plant.
Right. Fantastic. I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. I think it could be done. We can talk about that a little later. So let's go back to Flint, Michigan. And when you set up your machine there, I heard, from articles that it was sabotaged.
Right.
Could you go into that story? What happened?
So what happened was someone came out there that night, and they sabotaged the generator. They put metal chips down into the fuel tank. They drained the oil out. They changed wiring around on the generator. They reprogrammed some of the programming on the generator. When I started the generator, it sounded really rough. And then the unit was running rough as well, and I saw lots of coolant around. So basically what they did was they overfilled the unit with coolant, which would make you think that it had a low coolant aspect to it. Because how could you get that much coolant in it? And how they did it was they put it in under pressure. But then I found, I was sitting there and I was perplexed about why it was working so rough. And then after I started the investigation, I found it. And then lo and behold, in the neighborhood of Flint, there was Randy Welch's and Otis Cheatham. Otis Cheatham is a HVAC technician extraordinaire. And so working with Ben Watsky of Open World Relief and Janice Stone, they were over out in Puerto Rico, and I had another unit sitting over there. Well, that compressor blew on me, and we couldn't get it to work. So they shipped the compressor all the way over. This is a story that nobody told. They told about the vandalism, but they didn't tell about the part that we sat in that field for almost a week, and we repaired that machine. They shipped the compressor in to us all the way from Puerto Rico. We scooted that thing in with a forklift. I remember it came in a barrel, too, wrapped in blankets. We scooted that thing in. Otis Cheatham, we did the vacuum bound on it. We turned it up. And I was standing there. I said, you know what? If this thing starts, I'll be amazed. And because we don't normally do that work in a clean environment, we were doing this in a field. The three of us did this. We fired that machine up. It started working. It's still been working to this day. That's the story that didn't tell. Men from Flint fixed the machine, repaired the machine in the yard with no outside help.
Fantastic. That's why. Well, it's not a bunch of kids that did this. They knew what they were doing.
These grown men. Otis Cheatham. Yeah.
No, as far as the sabotage, Oh
yeah, grown men did that. No, yeah, that was well planned. But then in the neighborhood, it's not a neighborhood where you want to come mess around if you're not from there. So after that point, I mean, the neighbors keep an eye on that machine. If you're not from that neighborhood, you don't want to get near that machine.
You have no idea.
Water source.
You have no idea who could have done this. Or you have no idea. You don't have to share, but I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think there's a whole bunch of people that do not want to see me have this technology, as it's always been throughout our history, and they would like to get their hands on how I do this, or try to pick up on how I speak about this. I've seen a couple commercials today, as a matter of fact, that somebody sent me, and basically what they do is they even try to take the same way that I speak about the technology now. And some companies even use my images in their, but it takes more than that. It takes genuine concern for the people.
You
everything,
right?
Everything. Everybody else is building the box. I'm so far outside the box. Anything that they're building is nowhere near what I'm building. Machines I build, there's nothing like it on the market.
And nobody has messed with it since, as far as you know.
No.
The people got their eye on it.
Oh, yeah. The people got their eye on it. A flint beating is something that you don't want to get.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so.
Nah, you don't want a Flint, Michigan ass whooping, man.
Okay, so as I've seen over the years, and it's funny, right? You bringing this up. You know, they're saying a water crisis is happening in America, and one big part of that is contamination of our environment. They actually did a movie with Erin Brockovich. I don't know if you heard of it.
I remember it.
It was played by Julia Roberts in 2000, and I think it's your machine is a beautiful thing, but I think it's also a change in how we've been operating in this country and around the world in order to provide clean drinking water for communities. I think we got to stop poisoning our waters. Now, it doesn't matter if you pull it out of the air or we get the water from a lake or something. Poison is poison. If we understand the water cycle from solid to liquid to gas, you know, poison is poison. So, I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, we have to, as far as making a 180 in how we deal with our environment or our globe, our Earth.
That ship has sailed.
You think so?
I know so. That ship has sailed. You
don't think we could turn this around?
Nah. Because what you've done is, if you go to any, well, you can go up to Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota. You can go up in those areas up there. Yeah, you got pipelines going through there right now, getting ready to start spewing some contaminants out. We got pipelines all throughout the United States, and we're the only animal that lives. We're the only animal that lives in a nest that was soil at the same time. So here I stand in my pristine yard, but I don't use Roundup. I don't use these sprays. I got a big bag of chicken poo in the backyard. I got some coyote pee to keep the squirrels away. And that's all natural stuff, right? But all the stuff that we put down on the ground, it comes back to haunt us. Be it from fracking, when pushing chemicals into the ground mixed with water, that stuff comes back to haunt you. You put down all the fertilizer coming. You got blue-green algae just killing people, killing fish, just doing it. We've got petrochemical plants. We have totally soiled the ocean with plastic, chemicals, brain-eating of bacteria. You'd have to come to a complete stop and start to clean up this mess. But there's so much of it that's out there. How are you going to dispose of it all? It's in everything. Every person in the United States has got pre-fluoridated compounds in them now. PFOA, a cancer-causing agent. It's if you take a water test in the United States from coast to coast, yeah, I think they found some wells down in Mississippi that didn't have any contamination in them.
Yeah, it's funny. Ever since COVID-19 has kind of spread around the planet, there actually was another article I've read that actually other publications were copying and reposting that in India, when they stopped using the machine or the cars. When they stopped driving, of course, everybody had to quarantine, and factories shut down because of COVID. The environment started to clear up, and they said they can actually see Mount Everest mountain at the horizon in Kathmandu.
Yes.
So it told me two things. One thing is that, of course, we are the primary reason why our environment is like this. Our water, our skies, our oceans, our land, our soil, everything, number one. Number two, it will not take the earth long to heal itself. As long as human beings stop, the earth can regenerate.
Exactly. But the but is it has to stop today. And you have to start going backwards today. You've got to your window of opportunity is closing. Your window of opportunity is closing. If you look at the fires that took place in California, you think you get some problems now. Let me tell you something. It's going to rain in California. All that ground that was there that burned up, all their water table, California, it's almost unlivable. Because all that water is going to go down there. And then in the San Joaquin Valley, there's a petrochemical industry. It sprays so much chemicals on the food to make it grow and kill weeds that sometimes you pull food out and put it in the store that's non-organic, and some of the food is so toxic, they tell you not to give some fruits to kids now because of the toxicity level of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I put myself out there by telling the truth, but people have been lying to you for too long. And hey, I'd rather be honest to you and be an honest broker, and then to sit here and tell you a lie, and sell you downriver.
All right.
The situation is dire in the way that we have treated this planet and the water system. And now now that the rains are going to slow down, the aquifer is not going to fill up. But then when the aquifers do fill up, you have something called we have this permanent packed layer on top of the aquifer where everyone contaminates. So now when it does rain, all of this chemical contamination, oil, gas, whatever we put on the ground, what does it do? It flows into the aquifer. So with the technology that I build, when that water evaporates, if you have this system behind your house, on solar power supplies all the pure water a home needs, completely off grid. And I can make a system big enough for an entire neighborhood. It's nothing so out there as to not be done. The only thing you're doing is you're just using your science, and you're going back to second and third grade when we used to look at that little hydrologic cycle picture of the cows in the mountain and the ocean. And the only thing you're thinking about is water in its three states: a liquid, a solid, and a gas. And I am the scientist who is pulling it from the gaseous state. You had an engineer years ago create an oil drill because they were killing wells for lamp oil and to lube the industry. So a guy invented a drill, and he drilled down into the earth, and he got the oil. Well, I'm the scientist now today that is tapping into the atmosphere to give you water. It is no different. And people shouldn't look at me any different. It's just let me finish my work and stop slowing me down. That's all I ask.
I hear you, my brother. Now, there are a lot of people that want to help you. Like, they want to help you build this machine. They want to expand. Of course, you want to expand your business. How can people get in touch with you when they listen to this interview? How can, the young, not even just young, the young and old, the forward thinkers, the innovators, how can they come and help you? Have you had people come and help you in the past or over the years?
When I was down in Puerto Rico, what people did...
I'm sorry, say again?
When I was in Puerto Rico, people came to help in Puerto Rico. People came to Flint to help. And I think the right now, because we always have all these data problems because there's so many people overloading the internet. But I'll tell you what, here's what I'll give you. This This is the address to my P.O. box. It's like some people the old-fashioned way, like we're going to do mail-in ballots. If somebody wants to mail in a donation,
Right.
just write an old-fashioned check. Mail in a donation, because I got to finish this mission in Flint as well.
Right.
And as well as build them a new unit. And should I take a picture of it and send it to you, or so you can post it online?
Sure, Taylor. Do you have where people could donate online?
Yeah. The Moses West Foundation.
Okay. So they could go to MosesWestFoundation.org, and they can email you on helping or making a donation.
Yeah, right now, just making the donations, because right now I'm asses and elbows on the floor. Because I got these government contracts that I got to build. Hey, that should tell you something. Okay,
sure.
The government got me stacked up building machines, right?
Mm.
They got them, and they're like, we got ours, but you don't have yours.
Well, the government has their own. But they're
like, hey, we got ours. What about you? You know?
Wow. Okay.
Hey, you call me up, I'll build you a machine. And then here's what I'm trying to do. The more I build and the more I design, the price goes down. And so right now my assembly line is growing, and so then economy of scale, the price starts to come down. I got to get these things so affordable that you can have them at your house. Because when the day comes and you're going to say, oh, my God, I don't have any water. I tell you what, man, that $50,000 is going to seem like nothing.
Right.
After about 3 days.
But how can kids help, or young adults help you? Like, they want
how can they help me?
If you can, how can they,
Shoot. They buy a machine. They come up here and they stay with me. I teach them how to use the machine. I teach them how to clean the machine. I teach them how to maintain the machine. I teach them how to associate with the people around there in the different states people are going to be in that don't have water. A little bit of mentorship. And I say, okay, write your name on that machine. You go down here and you report to me back, every couple of days of how you and the machine are doing. If you need anything from me, just call me back. Hey, high school kids can do it. College kids can do it and write their programs for it. Kids can get scholarships to do this stuff. This is humanitarian work that's just beyond the pale because everybody's out of water. So say if somebody needs if somebody down in Louisiana needs a water machine and they got the money to do it, pay me for the machine. I'll send you. You come up here. I'll train you on the machine. You go down there and start making water for people because I can't go to all these places.
So you have a small staff, or who's working with you?
Yeah, I got a staff.
Okay.
I got 75,000 square feet of manufacturing space.
Okay. All right. And this
no. Wait. I thought everybody thinks Moses is making these things in his garage. Nah, man. I got overhead cranes. I got overhead cranes. I got engineers. I got manufacturing floor space in Dallas. I got manufacturing floor space in Houston. Yeah. And I build right here in San Antonio because this is where I'm at, and I don't want to be traveling on the road with all these people acting crazy these days.
Beautiful. That's great. Okay, I'm with you.
I was supposed to go over to the factory today and then look at some blueprints and stuff, and then you called me up and like, dang, I got to do this, so I can't go over to the factory.
I'm loving it. So people can also, you said there's a P.O. box. What's the P.O. box number for people to send you letters or support or checks or whatever?
Okay, it's P.O. Box 340 705 San Antonio, Texas 78234. And if you mail a donation to there, it goes straight to there, and then it goes straight to Flint. Or if you mail a donation there to build a machine, I'll build a machine. And if you pay for that machine, I'll come up here, I'll teach you how to use it, and you can go ship out and go work it wherever you want to work it.
Right. Or they could just go to MosesWestFoundation.org and make a donation right there on the site.
Exactly.
Because these little new millennials, they're like, what? How do you do that?
Yeah, but you know what I really like to do, though? Like, okay, honestly, say if there's somebody out there who can really pony up and buy a machine to go out to do this work, I would love nothing more for them to come up here and spend some time at the manufacturing plant, work with the engineers, and work with me, learn how to operate this machine, and then go someplace else and report back to me every day, or back to the company, how they're doing, anything they need, how the customers are doing, the people that they're helping. And then the people down there, them teach somebody else, and then get another machine, and then send that machine down to those people there. And the next time a hurricane comes through, you won't need to send in any bottled water. You'd have trained people down there helping their own neighborhood, their own communities with water. Right. And then learning a new technology. Not only are they learning, 110, 220, 480 volts, 460 volts, three-phase, single-phase, AC power, DC power. They're learning plumbing. They're learning sanitation. They're learning COVID prevention. They're learning social equality between men and women. They're getting to work with the elderly because the elderly are shut in. So you got to go deliver this water to elderly people.
Right.
Yeah, man. The water well has always been the place where we always congregated. Do you remember the cooler in the office?
Yes.
We were always around the water. So when this water machine goes down there, it becomes a central place where people come out and get to know each other again and learn how to go help each other, because everybody has got to have a drink of water every 72 hours.
Right.
It's a lot of goodwill that is absolutely necessary to save your life.
Right. I'm with you.
Now you know a little bit about me. That's how I feel about everything.
Hey, I'm with you all the way, and the reason why I really connected with what you are doing and your machine is because, to me, I think you are a true model of a lifer. And lifers are members that I asked to join my own social media charity network, crowdfundesque social media platform called Lyfeblood.com. So I get people from I want people from like politics, from music, from arts, but also inventors, engineers, from the sciences. Like we do have the inventions and the know-how to solve the problems that we are going through today. And what I want to do is create this platform where people can join together, exchange ideas, exchange how they feel of what's going on, but not just that, but also help each other achieve that by donating a minimum of $1 per month to the members of their liking. And in this sense, as you, to me, as Moses West's lifer, I see it as you becoming or having that profile on Lyfeblood.com and asking for, if you have 100,000 people and 100,000 people each are giving you $1 that truly connect with the message and you as what you have for your foundation. And imagine getting like $100,000 a month in order for you to help move your message along, your mission statement, and your invention to people around the world. And it's also, as we start developing that network of millions of people, there are going to be clusters of where I want to go and take Lyfeblood, clusters of cities and towns where we can be self-sufficient when it comes to our natural resources, when it comes to renewable energy, when it comes to providing water, all of these things where we can start looking to each other for our own answers. And I think that is where we're moving towards in the 21st century. Even the inventions I've seen that have been made 30, 50 years ago, I'm like, what? That was made 30, 50 years ago? But it's been sitting on the shelf collecting dust because it doesn't benefit the small group of people that want to profit off of it. And I think what is happening, we are literally at the stage of our society where you cannot hide it anymore. And it's going to be available for everyone. And it's up to the people to start empowering themselves to create the community that they want. So go ahead.
We have pre-COVID, we have COVID, and we're going to have post-COVID. COVID virus, what it did is send an X-ray through the United States, an X-ray. And what it showed us, every fractured, broken bone, every cancerous tumor, everything that was in the United States. It showed it, laid it bare.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the COVID virus did to us. You might have looked healthy, but when you shot that X-ray through, you saw the damage.
Yep.
So now that we're in the COVID virus, one of the things that caused people the most damage during this virus was lack of good food, lack of organic food, lack of food without high salt content, low sugar content, low fat content, low processed foods, organic foods. With this technology, standing on my property with a machine running in my backyard, I can grow enough food in my yard to supply my entire block on solar power, pulling clean water from the air and giving people water. So the thing that we need to do coming out of COVID, the thing that's killing us, is that we ate the stuff that people told you to eat. But now with this technology, not only do you have clean water, you have clean water to grow food with,
organic, clean
food, organic, clean food, healthy food. The same stuff your grandparents ate when you used to watch Soul Train back in the 1970s. And say, dang, those people were skinny. No, they weren't skinny. They just haven't been eating Twinkies. They weren't skinny. I used to watch the shows and I said, oh, look at all the skinny people. No, they weren't skinny. That's the way people look.
Right.
And so we got away from that, and it's killing us wholesale.
Right.
We need to go back to the warriors that we are. And if you look at any warrior, he is fast, he's lean, and he is mean. He is quick on his feet. Yeah. And we've gotten away from that. But making your own food and water, you can get back to it.
I think that's the first step back. I think if we can control our food, clothing, and shelter, I think that's the first steps that we can make to be self-sufficient, to be self-reliant. And we have to do it. We already
doing it.
I hear you.
Already doing it.
I hear you.
I got the power, I got the water, and I got the food. That's it.
I think this is a great call that we had. It's a great interview. And I'm glad that I had an opportunity to talk to you, Moses West, letting the fans or letting the people know, the audience globally, not just in America, but globally, who you are, what you want to do. Now I think they have more of an emotional connection to your mission, even though they may have read it in a publication somewhere. Hearing your voice, hearing your energy, hearing where you want to go with the Moses West Foundation and your invention, I think there's going to be droves of people that are going to reach out to you even more, and not just reaching out to you, but start to create their own answers or look for solutions themselves through your invention, through what you're doing, the message that you're bringing. And I'm glad that you were on the show in the phone zone on GCOM Radio. I think we're making history here on turning the corner of where Americans first, because we are American, where they need to go, and hopefully where the rest of the world can follow and seek out those same answers.
Most definitely, because sustainability, the 17 goals of sustainability is where we need to be. And right now, just with the technology alone, making water on solar power, I meet 7 of those goals, of those UN goals.
I'm with you. And just as the 7 of those goals, is that listed out where people can to understand what those?
Oh yeah, if you look up the 17 goals of sustainability.
17 goals of sustainability. Okay.
That's right. That's what the UN has directed the entire world to be doing. And then the technology that I have and what I do, I meet 7 of them.
Because even I didn't know that. I did not know that the United Nations had 17 goals of sustainability. And that's something that I need to go on their website and see what we can do to start reaching those steps.
Oh, we need to do that so we can live. See, here's one thing: a lot of people they make this mistake. They say, "Oh, we're destroying the earth." He said, "No. You got this wrong. See, there's Mother Nature. Mother Nature, she's pretty bad.
Mm.
Mother Nature, she always bats last, and she always bats 1,000.
Mm.
The Earth is not going to get destroyed. What's going to get destroyed if you don't get onto these 17 tenets is you're going to get destroyed.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's why whenever somebody, when someone always, when somebody would tell me that, or you see these environmentalists and they say we're going to destroy the Earth, I'm like, not really. The Earth will be fine. It's us that we have to be worried about. When we go, the Earth will be here for another 4 billion years. We could be wiped out in just a blink of an eye if we don't correct our actions.
That's right. And
that's what we have to focus on.
That's right. And the Earth, what she'll do over those millions of years is she'll take everything that we ever created and she'll take it and she'll mold it into something, and it'll be incorporated in the next form of life that's on this planet. Oh yeah, this is a very resilient place that we have to live. It's our one planet, and we just need to become better stewards of it.
Right. We do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. West. I appreciate you. Let's just stay in contact as we go on in the future, because you're doing great stuff.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, that was in the Phone Zone interview, man, with Moses West. Look him up on IG. And if you are a part of any organization or country or government around the world, Africa, Europe, to I don't know, China, America, South America, and you feel that your community or region needs water, this is the man to speak to. Big ups to Moses West for doing this. He's doing really good things. So yeah, get in touch with that brother. Thank you guys for listening to the show. Please, as I always say at the end of the show, go to Lyfeblood.com, become a lifer. I got Moses West on the way. So be a part of this. We're creating this community where we're going to network the right way. And you know what? I like to do a special shout out to IG and Facebook for blocking my ad promos. For some reason, they locked me out. I have no idea why, but they locked me out. They gave me some flimsy reason, and there's no way for me to follow up in the best way so I could get a serious answer in the shortest period of time. I have no idea what's going on. So I have to go, as they said, somebody said this, if I can't go through, if I can't go through the front door, then I'll go through the window. So I'm actually getting in contact with people to do some promotions on the side so people know that these shows are coming out on a weekly basis. So based on that, I do encourage people to go on Lyfeblood.com, because a matter of fact, there are some other people that have been complaining that their posts are being limited. And one lady in Portland, and of course some other people that I've seen. So, you know, it doesn't make sense to complain. I think it's a good opportunity to start jumping onto another social media platform, namely why I'm bringing it up, Lyfeblood.com. But it's more than just socializing. It's about creating that financial network, the dollar power mantra, and it's about just sharing that $1 per month to each other towards any member that you like. And if you have 5,000 people, imagine 5,000 people giving you $5,000 a month to do what you need to do. And in terms of Moses West, he already has an infrastructure set up where he can get money from the people. But this is more than that. This is about building a community where we can communicate to each other on things like this, and also start encouraging each other. If there are any other inventors out there with beautiful inventions that benefit humanity, don't worry about, you know, trying to go into big companies and worrying about getting your idea stolen. We're going to do it right here with the network. And if you have something that's beautiful, we want you to go viral where you get 100,000 people and getting $100,000 a month to do what you need to do. That's what it's about. And with those inventions, with all those contributions that we're giving to each other, we're going to build a community out of it. Not just online, not just virtually speaking to each other on social media platforms, but also we want to build it out physically in the real world, and really show the world what a 21st century society looks like with our inventions, with our art, with our music, with all the contributions without the hindrances of the society we currently live in right now. So definitely sign up to Lyfeblood.com. Let's make it happen. Become that lifer. Let's do this. So I appreciate you guys listening to the interview. Next week, we do have an interview. I'm not going to say it yet, but I'll show you on my social media. It's a dope one, because I always curse out the music business, and music streaming. I think this is this next guest will be dope to really get into the nitty gritty. This guy's been in the business for many a years, and you know his work, and we'll get into that a little later. So again, thank you for listening, and I am out of here. Peace.
Yo, check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.